For the second daily quest of the week. As a reminder, once again, these quests are helping us prepare for the quiz that's coming on Friday, October 12th. So these are your study guide. Do not lose them. Do not throw them away. For our first problem, we need to find 3 equivalent fractions to 2/6 and show every step of your work. So our first step is we have to draw out our 2/6 every time. I also want to note that if you make a note that 2/6 is equal to 2/6, we have just drawn one equivalent fraction to what we started with. So we already have one fraction down. When we're drawing the rest of our fractions then, we only need 2. Now, for 2/6 is not in simplest form. So one of the options is you could, instead of multiplying these numbers, we could divide each number by 2. Whoops, that connected a little bit. By 2, which would give us the answer of 1/3. So that's one of the options. It's not the only option. But in order to draw 1/3, instead of drawing it right away, sometimes I draw 2/6 and then I'm deleting boxes to make sure the shading still lines up. If you notice, here are the third markers. Half of a third is a 1/6. Now, for the last one, I need to find a number that I can multiply the numerator and denominator by. By multiplying the numerator and denominator, I am cutting each box up into more boxes. So let's do 2/6. Let's do each of these numbers times 2. It's not the only option, but it's probably the easiest option that we have. That would create 4/12. So I'm going to cut every 1/6 into 2 equal boxes because that's what we're doing right here. So I start with my 2/6. I cut every box into 2 equal boxes, and I have now created 4/12. So here's 2/6, first equivalent, second equivalent, and third equivalent fraction. Let's go to our next problem. So we have 2/3, and we're going to take away 1/2 using the traditional algorithm, common denominator, and drawing a picture. So by our common denominator between thirds and halves, the smallest common denominator would be 1/6. I can create 1/6 by multiplying our left fraction, numerators, and denominator by 2. And our right fraction, numerator, and denominator by 3. 2 times 2 creates 4/6, and I want to subtract 3/6. 4/6 minus 3/6 is equal to 1/6, and that would be our answer. No simplest form needed here. Well, it's already in simplest form. To then draw out the problem, because I'm doing subtraction, I have to draw the first fraction and then subtract the second one, so take away. So I start with 2/3. I changed 2/3 into 4/6. So I change this by drawing 4/6. So here are my 6th, and I'm going to shade in 4 of them. Oops, I gotta get the right pen here. There we go. 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, and 4/6. Then I now have to subtract 3 of the 6th. So you can use an eraser, or you can X them out. So there's 1 gone, 2 gone, 3 gone, and I have 1/6 left. And our answers match, and I am done with this problem. Let's go to the next one. So I have to do 1/4 divided by 2, and I want to use the picture and the standard algorithm. Well, I'm going to start with the picture, and I need to make sure that I draw out, or I explain out what the problem is in words. So this is 1/4 divided by means cut into, and this is 2 parts and 2 equal parts. Okay, so I have to draw out my 4th, and I'll do my shading. So I have 1/4 right here. And what I need to do is I need to cut it into 2 equal parts and then get rid of one of them. So I cut that into 2 equal parts, but I got to cut every part of my fraction into 2 equal parts. And now I have to get rid of one of these 2 parts. So I'll erase this one right here. My pen does not want to do this. Oh, there we go. All right. And so now I am left with 1 out of, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total pieces. And that is my answer. The algorithm for this problem is we have 1/4, and we are going to multiply. I don't know why it doesn't want to do that, but we're going to multiply by the fraction that's equal to dividing by 2. Dividing by 2 is the same as multiplying by 1/2. And we get 1/4 times 1/2 is equal to 1/8. And our answers match. One more. So for 3 times 2/3, I have to once again do the standard algorithm. And then I also have to multiply with the pictures. So I'm going to start with the pictures. So I'm going to do 3 groups of 2/3. 3 groups of 2/3. So I have my 3 groups, and I'm going to draw my 2/3. And once again, if you put them together, you can cut them all up at the same time. And I'm going to shade 2/3. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 thirds. Okay, and now I have to regroup and make some whole numbers. So I'm going to take this part here, and I'm going to move it up and to the right over here. Hopefully I don't erase all of the problems. So I've created one hole here on the top, and I'm going to take this piece, and I'm going to move it down over here to create another whole number. And I have no leftovers this time. So 6/3 is equal to exactly 2 wholes, which we showed with the picture. Now, for the algorithm, we have to change both of these numbers into fractions. Now, 2/3 is already in fraction form. 3 in a fraction form is 3/1, or 3 wholes, or 3/1, however you want to say it, which we multiply across the numerator and denominator and get 6/3, which is equal to 2. And we are done. As always, if you have any questions, please let me know.